So this is the extractor off of that Grendel bolt, and you can see that it has the inner buffer, the donut buffer, and then it's got a 4-coil spring, okay? So I'm going to take this donut off, and I'm going to use this without the donut and see if it fixes the feeding issues. I think it will. I don't know that you need this donut on there to make it feed properly. It's really hard to get this to snap over the rim, and I think taking some of that stress out of there will resolve that problem. But we're going to give it a try. Way smoother. Ooh, let's see. Let's test that some more, make sure that we can confirm that's correct. That's it, 5. Way smoother. It extracted just fine. I tried to shoot those fast. I wasn't shooting a group, and it extracted and went back in. You still got to manhandle it, okay? Still got to manhandle it, but it was way smoother. So part of the extraction issue is extracting it out, not loading it, but extracting it, is this Hornaday. It's Frontier. It's a little smoky. Yeah, it's a little hot. You can kind of see it right there. It's flattened, flat. So I'm not getting any protrusion out of the top. I'm getting a little bit of frosting on the sides, just a little bit. I know it's hard to see. I'm sorry. That's better. There you go. You can see the frosting there. Frosty. But that's, I mean, it's just, I'm pulling as hard as I can without the donut. It's popping these out. So that is probably going to stick with that. We'll test that. But I got a feeling that fixes the whole can't get it to go over the rim problem. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I really do hate it when I can't get it past the rim. That bothers me. Just saying. You ever get this feeling that you're being watched? Uh-huh. Yeah. What's up, bud? I'm being watched. She doesn't know what the hell to think about it. So that's the Hornaday 123 grain SST. And let's say what we got for some numbers here. I got 2401 as my average with a standard deviation of 10.6. I'm not sure the group's really good though. It looks pretty shitty. I'm gonna have to go out and check it. It doesn't look, I'm not happy with it. The first 3 looked okay, and then the last 2 were like, all right, let's try some of that Frontier factory out to 330 yards, which ballistically would be kind of be the max I would want to shoot a deer with this. But let's, I got a camera out there, and let's shoot some steel, see what happens. So I'll post my ballistics on here. I took a picture of it, and let's send some bullets. That's weird. All right, small target. I think the wind's pushing me left a little bit. There we go. Okay, try the hog. Try that first plate again. Ooh, that one was sticky. Back for the small plate. One more time on the small plate. There we go. To get it to single feed, I figured out that it's all the way back. It won't go forward. Well, it won't go forward because the bolt carrier group is actually catching on the lock open mechanism internally. So what I figured out is if I use my pad lever and push it out of the way, then I could single feed. So I can do this and then single feed if I wanted. If that wasn't there, you're gonna have to reach around for the thumb. So this actually does make some sense with this setup if you wanted to single feed. I magazine fed the whole time. Just made more sense. So let's look at the bolt real quick. So this is the bolt and the bolt carrier group, and essentially the bolt handle, right? Charging handle. So when I first saw this, I was kind of like, why does it have this movement here? Why is it not solid? I suspect what it is that you need enough inertia starting to pull back to unlock it, and you need enough inertia to go forward to lock it. So this is giving you just a little bit of a jump so that you can jump and jam it and jump and pull it apart, and it helps rotate the bolt and the cam. That's what I think it's for. Now, when this is in the gun and you pull it all the way back, it stops right here on this ridge, right here. So you can see that there's some wear on there, right, on the bottom, and that is from hitting the buffer the buffer itself. I was using a lower from a different gun, and let me pull this apart, and it's a semi-auto, so I just left everything in there. If you look, you can see that there's some impact mark at the top of the bolt there. That's okay. If you look really, really close, you can see that there's a little bit of impact there on the upper. So when this comes back, right, this is coming back, that's where it's stopping, okay? So it'll be down a little bit further because the trigger's in the way, right? But it'll be like right about there, okay? So it's just catching the the buffer, and it's stopping on the receiver. I don't really see that there's a huge amount of marking on this. I'd imagine if you shoot thousands and thousands of rounds, eventually you're gonna get a mark up here on the rear, but it's not like it's a semi-automatic. If you're seeing marks up here on a semi-auto, it's because something's broken in here and you're getting way too much penetration with the bolt carrier group and your buffer, and you're slamming your gas key against here. Well, this is meant to be slammed against that, and I think it's rigid enough to take it, okay? This is not taking the same amount of energy that you would on like a full auto. That's typically where you see the buffer is getting crushed and it slams into here, and then you can crack your receiver down here. I don't know that that's a worry with this setup. While we have this out, we'll talk about the bolt carrier group itself. The bolt carrier group itself looks like it was originally a normal bolt carrier group, and then it was just modified, right? Which is exactly what I would do too. This is a pretty smart setup. All of your parts and your components essentially look like they were modified from an AR-15 semi-automatic, which is kind of as a straight pull with a locking mechanism. It's pretty smart. So this is a Grendel II bolt. It's 9310 steel. It is nitrided, meg particle inspected. You can see that I'm getting a lot of copper on there. That's okay. That's normal. So these are rounded off on the front a little bit. Sorry, these are rounded off on the front a little bit. But I wasn't seeing any unusual mushrooming or breaking on the bolt carrier group. And those frontiers are pretty hot. So I'm it looks like it's taking it just fine. If I had to guess, I would say that this bolt carrier group and this bolt were made by Azimuth. The handle was probably made by the actual manufacturer, Atl Opp, along with the bolt knob. The bolt knob was probably purchased. He might have made these and then added afterwards. 6 one way, half dozen the other, really. Smart little system, okay? The upper itself is essentially an AR-15 upper, okay? Has no dust cover on it. And then it's modified here so that the bolt handle has enough movement area so that when it cycles, so that would be right about where it would stop normal. Where you're cut in right there. You need that cut in so that this will go into the actual underneath the tang area there. So that's the big modification to the upper. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's all, I mean, it's a dust coverless upper. I'm not sure who's making it. When I put it together, it was thermal fit. It was really tight. I did bed the barrel in there regardless with a little bit of Loctite 620. But it was a very tight fit. I think the ramps were fine. So it's not a semi-auto, it's a bolt action, but you still want your ramps to work properly, and the ramps work just fine on this. So the upper, cool concept. Atl Opp makes these. They're roughly $600, give or take. So the price is on their webpage. I'll put a link of their webpage in my description. They do make these in the 223-556. I have seen this shoot in 300 blackout, which is pretty cool concept. Now you've got no gas coming out your gas or your bolt carrier group right here in these two holes, right? It's just sitting there. There's no gas system at all. It's pretty quiet. Yeah, pretty quiet indeed. Cool concept. And I could see this taking off with a lot of the 300 blackout shooters, maybe a little bit of 223. I wanted to do this because it's kind of a bolt gun / hunting concept. I would probably go to the light stock. It just happens that's what was on this lower when I grabbed it, and so it is what it is. Because it's competing with both bolt actions and with ARs, I think it's going to be a niche product. So for me personally, I don't know that I will keep this gun in this platform in this setup like this. I may rebuild this into a 300 blackout. I think that's where this is really going to shine. And I can just change the bolt on this, right? So I'll change it to a 223 bolt, and it'll work just fine in 300 blackout.
That's pretty quiet. That is pretty quiet.
Where you're not getting that gas cycling through it really makes a lot of sense to me. In the 6-ARC and 6.5 Grendel, I mean, the amount of accuracy that I was getting out of this in comparison to what I do out of my 20-inch semi-auto, my 20-inch semi-auto was stomping this. And it can be the barrel, right? But at the same time, I really saw no benefit from the action itself being a bolt action. Now, if you're in a commie country, right, like California or something like that, then okay, this might actually get you into an AR platform hunting or competition shooting, short range PRS or whatever, right? It may have a niche for something like that, but for free states, I don't know that this is going to be beneficial over a semi-automatic. I don't think so personally, just based on me owning multiple Grendels and ARCs. The semi-autos are they're shooting, right? So this isn't giving me any what I would consider advantage in accuracy or reliability. It just gives me a different designed action. So I think I'll probably rebuild this into a 300 blackout just because it's really kind of where I think the niche fits for this product. It's not a bad product. It's fully functional, 100%. Pull that donut out of there, you're good to go. This is going to hit home with a lot of the hardcore guys, the ones that love to build stuff and like unique products. That's really where this is going to fall. And it's a good product for that. I do like it, and I do definitely recommend it. I just don't think it's going to be for everyone.